All right, so with it, like I said, we're gonna do some free psychic scans. Those that haven't heard about it, if you want one, write me an email at villasav@yahoo.com. Share your name, a photo, your backstory, some of your interests, stuff like that, and we'll do the reading. We have a few people who wrote already, so I'll take my precious time reading it. Well, we have wonderful person, super beautiful girl. So we're gonna look into what her case is, her background and stuff, whatever comes up, go from there. Um, I'll take my time. One thing is reading with a little bit dyslexic thing, but yeah, Rich will support me, so we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So we have Adita. She's one of your viewers currently, and she's saying, as a kid, I had some paranormal experiences, like seeing spirits in my dream state. I'd get scared by most of them all the time. Uh, I'd show them love, but they'd escape, so I'd left confused. I also had a traumatic childhood because of my father, emotional and physical abuse. I guess I was more open to those psychic abilities as a child, but with time I closed them off due to trauma. When I became adolescent, I started questioning life and searching for a meaning. I got more interested in spiritual topics and had some more paranormal experiences again. I started having nightmares, like being drawn to the astral realm and getting tortured there, etc. Meanwhile, the injustice in the world hurt me so much I wanted to stand against it. I almost ended up in jail at 17 because I joined the protests against the government for the worker rights, women rights. There were massive arrestments back then. I wasn't sent to jail, but this process left me in a big disappointment and sadness, and I just wanted to be the voice of who couldn't, and help myself and people. I now feel like whenever I try to raise my voice for injustice, I get silenced by one thing or another. I sometimes feel like I'm very deep under a cold, dark ocean, and I'm too naive for this place. I had suicidal thoughts a lot, but I just couldn't do it for some reason. I never felt like I belonged to this place in the first place. I always felt more connected to magic, nature, animals, fairies, mermaid, dragons, and other worlds. I guess that's why I couldn't bond with anyone truly here, so I felt alone most of the time. Following my curiosity, I discovered amazing things like multiverse, consciousness manifesting, out-of-body experiences. I had some accidental reality shifts in 2021, and last time I visualized the shift, my sight changed and I saw something attacking me. Since then, I couldn't visualize. I came close to half out-of-body experiences, but couldn't fully shift. I really want to be able to do it intentionally so I can be free from this place and discover. I'm really curious about my past story, what's going on behind the scenes. If my scan is too hard, it's okay, you can pass on me. I don't want you to tire or anything. There's a bit more, but it's more for personal stuff, so that's okay. Whew, that's a lot. It's interesting because like just reading the story, I get a lot of flashes of what's going on, so I'm just gonna mention some of the things I saw, and then we can look deeper into the details, and Rich can fill me up with more info. First things is 20 and back. Quite a few instances. First thing that stands out is like age of 3, 5, 7. Like these are the bigger ones. SSP, my lab. I'm just like writing key points, stuff to look at currently. What else? A lot of past life traumas. With repetitive themes of trying to help out people and the masses and stand for injustice, but being silenced or being taken down and unable to defend and protect, and it's kind of like just things happening against you. Well, so there's that. Uh, I would say like astral clones and the scenarios of more like fake lifetime simulations, as well as just experiencing stuff where you know you're acting against your own free will, but you're being threatened in a way, we're gonna kill someone you love or care about if you don't do this. So you're forced to go out of your way to get the things done. And in the end, they have lied, they kill someone you love, they destroy the world that, they threatened and kind of like promised, hey, if you do this, we're gonna keep it safe or not touch it, but then they still go against their way, kind of thing. So there's just like a lot of pictures I'm seeing currently. So if you have any insights, Rich, you can tell. But then we can go into the details because there's a lot. This person is amazing, but there's just so much in the background that I think we should talk about.
Yeah. Okay. I will. But first of all, the person that wrote, you can share in another email. One of the several things, the many things if you want, you can share. Hey, I'm particularly interested in blah blah. You don't have to do that, but if you do that, that might help. Meantime, we're just going to talk about what's going on. So let me let me start out with Alfila sees so much, and the reality is so intense. We oftentimes ask, do you want the soft version or the hard version? And so we ask this because we don't want to give you too much, too fast, too hard. But if you think about, and right now we're kind of killing time while our viewers, looking and making notes, but we have millions of lifetimes doing all kinds of things in all kinds of planes and densities. Okay. So in this one lifetime now, what you've experienced as injustices and trying to be the voice for people and being shut down and being attacked and targeted, and your ability to consciousness shift and reality shift, you're a player. You are really involved in the games of life with ability, awareness, and an understanding. And though you had to start from scratch when you were born into this life, you got up to speed really fast, and now you're a target really fast. And you're so incredibly powerful that things are coming at you from every direction. But it happens to everybody, but most people aren't, pushing the bad boys buttons so much. But a person like you is. And so Akvila can see the different things that is being used against you, or your own mind phenomena of being, a memory being triggered and stuff and bleed through, and all this stuff is all swirling around, and this is the sort of things Akvila can see. So, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so first things first, like, it's usually not necessarily a chronological order of things, but I'll just start with past lives because there's a lot of reasons why you're here on Earth, and a lot of things that has built up over the past that's been used against you to get you here. In the past, I've made some videos and wrote articles on few races called Trucians. I'll just get the picture here so that people could see it. No, this is my Sony Vegas later on. Yeah. So Trucian race. If you would think humanoid body or just an outline filled with the universe, kind of like similar picture I have here. If you turn on live stream or my website, you'll see it as well. I just brought up for people to see it. So yeah, just saying.
Okay. Yeah.
But basically, there is a past life where you were a Trucian, and you've been helping out a lot of people. Trucian creates portals, creates stargates. A lot of times in the 3D, it is used by many groups. In some cases, they act consciously themselves, willingly, wanting to help out the world, where people are being trapped and attacked. You go in, you stand out with, okay, the world's attacked, I will come get everyone and get them out to safety. Trucian also works like a safe haven, where it's the world within. And I don't usually have the best explanation for it, but think of like micro and macro. When you look at the human body, on a macro level, you look outside and there's the whole universe outside of you. But if you look within, the little bacteria within our body, if you would look at the gut, if you would look what's going on within, there's just so much life in the physical body that we have that if we look at the Trucian can go to the worlds to help beings, but Trucian can also store beings, like the consciousness within, and have them like create this little world, a realm for people to stay and be protected. Adita, you have worked as a Trucian, but at the same time, while most people, while most Trucians have the role of going into a place and helping someone willingly, consciously, you have been used by groups to more like, mm, it's like I don't know how to explain it properly, but there's a fake story of the world's attacked, we need to save people. And that is like the casual rule that the Trucian will have to protect and to save. You accept that you will go into a realm and help beings, but that was the fake story, and they used you to harvest consciousness and use you as a soul trap machine where they get a bunch of beings within you, and it's not being saved, it's being extracted. But now beings are captured, they cannot get out, they're stuck, and there's a lot of like fragmentation of consciousness where beings are being blended like in a minced meat machine kind of thing. So a lot of beings have their perception change to the point where they become vulnerable. The consciousness can only be trapped if the consciousness believes that I have a body, like I identify as something and I am this. So you put yourself in a frame or a vessel, and then you create a perception or a belief that, oh, I am stuck. I can't move. I can't get out of here. The moment you start believing things like that, you create a perception and life that you no longer have a superpower. Your consciousness no longer has an ability to shift and get out freely. You have a perception of being trapped, and groups have used you to extract beings, trap them, to limit their perception, to limit the consciousness and trap them and put them on Earth. And for that, like, there's a lot of guilt. And at the same time, people viewing you as the bad guy. And there's this contradictory to where you want to save someone, and you've been used to capture someone and trap them. And there's like a lot of resentment and guilt and hating self to the point where you yourself decide that I will no longer use my superpowers and abilities to help someone else. And it's kind of like that power you've had to create and manifest, you take it away because you've hurt someone and it scared you and you're feeling bad about it. And it's like all the love that can help and cure, I will no longer use it. And you like reject it. So there's this massive blockage for you as regards your ability to consciousness shift, as regards to communicate with the consciousness, to like all this freedom, like and things that like we could do. There's a lot of self-suppression there. I'll go deeper, but Rich will have some insights on that as well, and maybe he will translate what I'm saying into better words.
Wow, that's deep, Adria. Well done. The phenomena, let's talk about the Trucian phenomena. It's like it's the outline of a body, but when you look into it, you see stars, you see a universe. So in consciousness, it's a portal. We are not things. We imagine and create things, and then we identify with the things we create. Even I'm a point of view. I'm a consciousness, but I choose to have a point of view. Now I can view things from one point. Okay, so this is you viewing the world, and things got wild and crazy, so you got caught and used. But you're able to view the world or the universe without being something. But by consideration, you are considering yourself the portal, and somebody looks at you, they will see an entire universe within you, right? So it's a phenomenon. A lot of different beings can do this, and the multiverse is so vast, and there's so many different kinds of universes and belief system territories. This is not unusual. But okay, so this is what you choose to be. But now other beings see you as a Trucian. So they see they what they're seeing is like a portal into another universe. It's like a reality shift. So the nature of your being, loving and helping and all this, your energy signature is safe and secure. So when beings on a planet need help, they need to bail because they're being taken over by the dark side or bad war or something. You can help them escape. So they might drop their physical bodies, but now they're in an energy spirit body, a second body, and they have actually consider themselves to be an energy essence, like a light, the glowy light. This is my aura, this is my second body, my energy body, right? That's not who a consciousness really is, but this is what they're considering themselves to be. So as this, their body, energy, they can go into a safer universe through you, the portal that you are, and you're like imagining the entire universe safe. And now beings will go in. All right. So this is your way of helping. Well, the bad guys get a hold of you and compromise you. And once these beings come into you, into your universe, you're into your space, your consciousness that is the universe, there's planets and all these beings, instead of finding a nice, pleasant, safe planet with their population of loving beings, they are now compromised, grabbed up, and used by the dark side. And they literally will take thousands of beings and squish them together, pack them in tightly. All these the beings themselves think they're energy essence. And the bad guys can control the energy essence through high tech and different ways. Now you've made this dense, and the two consciousnesses is like two beings being in the same head. They think in the same thoughts together telepathically. You do that for about 1,000 years, and you forget your own identity, and you become this composite beingness of thousands, right? So this is what the bad boys have been having you do. That's the short story. But
Yeah, and also there's this side effect of being a Trucian where you have the reputation of someone who will create portals and start like stargates so they can be saved or they can travel. So a lot of beings know that they can come to you, the consciousness that you are, and they will be helped. They'll be able to travel, they'll find safe haven and stuff. And you can imagine this a human taxi where they come to you to be picked up and helped or to travel somewhere. So it's like you constantly attract beings either in the need of help or saving. And it's like entities. They jump from people to you. You become like a magnet and you will take someone else's crap because those entities, not all of those little beings are here purposely trying to hurt someone. They have been created and doing it against their own free will. They're lost and they're looking for help. Sometimes these beings are like just like looking for someone to be aware of them so that they could find their way out. And it's like if they're hanging around the person and they're lost, they're trapped, like have this identity, oh, I can't get out of here. I'm trapped. I feel like I'm grounded. I cannot go anywhere. Like a lot of the different beliefs, those beings, entities jump from other people to you. You, like a magnet, attract them. You will also attract people and be their catalyst and create this nexus point where someone can be really traumatized. They can be narcissistic. They can have issues in life. They will meet you. And naturally, while you attract trouble, but they're just messed up people, you will do everything out of your heart and kindness to help them out, give all of yourself to someone else so that they would change. You create this nexus point in their life while after meeting you, someone who's terrible has now success in life and they heal or just have many changes. And even in your family, you might notice that a lot of people might have a hard time or they might do negative things, but they're succeeding while you're trying to do the opposite, and the opposite is happening to you. You're giving your all to help to do stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, you're blamed, you're guilty, you're not good enough, you're bad, and all this stuff. So there's a lot of attacks in that kind of way, but it's also by nature like we would have to revoke that reputation or the role of playing a Trucian that I'm here to help and I will give you a free ride and I will teleport to some other place. Like as a consciousness, we have to pronounce and state that like, hey, while I had those abilities, I was able to do that. Like I was able to get you out, but now I no longer want to play that role. If I choose to do it consciously, I will, but no longer jump into my space expecting that you'll be saved, so that you would not start attracting all kinds of entities that will be harming you 24/7. So there's that. There's a whole lot more. Rich, anything else to add, or should I just continue with what I'm seeing?
no, I think that's pretty good on the holy fuck, I'm a Trucian. I got all these entities in me. I think that was enough of that.
Okay, so after being a Trucion, and it's not necessarily the chronological order, but like lifetimes you've had. Also seeing a Golden Crown race. I'm gonna just again share a little blog I wrote about them. Uh, you can see some of their looks, some of the personalities. You can check it out on my website if you want more details. But basically, you've had this axis of more like a consciousness that in the body I wrote about, like a humanoid looking being, 5 to 8 feet tall, 2 legs, 2 arms, eyes white pure, uh, kind of like Egyptian looking chin, skin is kind of hard, plastic, silicon like, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't matter about the look. Well, for me, I don't care. But anyway, as beings, it's like you have this access to information. I've talked about angiobarsis, I've talked about Akashic records. It's like, as a consciousness, you have this access to libraries of info about people, about beings, about locations, about places. You just have this knowingness, and Golden Crown race usually tries to give that information to someone who's craving for answers, for understanding. So a lot of times throughout, like, let's say if we would look at Earth, people are walking down and they have like, okay, I want to find my goal, I want something to do, I want inspiration to get something done. And all of a sudden this knowingness comes, this information that is life-changing, something that they might have been craving for to change, to get better, to learn. Golden Crown race will give that information as guidance. And some people like, hey, I got an inspiration or I got an idea. But no, a lot of times we are being accessed by the Golden Crown and they're sharing that stuff to help us out. It's like even if you would think of Nikola Tesla, who would astral project and go into other places and talk with beings and get info to create the tech, like he was given the information. A lot of times, like there are beings who can share stuff where we get insights and we can change. So Golden Race does exactly that. With you, on a similar note of what happened previously, you have been used by the other group. And again, it's that kind of thing like, oh, we're gonna help you connect with a realm where you can help people, teach them, help them to like that there's that evolution or the change of mind where they can get better or grow faster. And you're like, sure thing, I'll help them out. I'll change their mindset. I'll give them stuff so that they could work on themselves. But instead, they used you as a radio to give the information but the info given, it's like they were able to, and I don't know how to say it properly, it's like hypnotizing you to where you yourself cannot decipher the info given to you that's going through you to the other population. And now those beings are getting false information where they start buying into fake realities or belief systems that are limiting and actually causing the whole planet. It's like straightly accessed and everyone has this God talking to them and they have this understanding coming up to them, but it's being used in a manipulative way to destroy, to alter, to use massive or like collective consciousness, so to speak, to alter events in a negative way, where hundreds of thousands of people tune into one reality and all of them try to change certain events for the negative. They're like, oh, well, reptilians are considered good and they're saving the world and they're doing this. And now we have hundreds of thousands of people consciousness shifting, doing stuff, but they've been brainwashed and actually used on us like as just, I don't know, you were playing chess and those first soldiers on the line.
Pawns.
Yeah, pawns. So yeah, like just use as pawns. So like again, there's a part where through you, someone else is able to manipulate, and now you yourself is like, I have been used. My voice to share info to give is now used for the negative. I should not talk anymore. And whenever you want to share, whenever you want to give, there's this closing out because what if I'm going to be used? What if they're going to access me again? What if, what if, what if? And you close down that ability to even express yourself. Whatever you want to say now, you're keeping it inside and it's killing you because you want to fight, you want to help, and there's that fear of being taken over again. So there's correlations with what you wrote about your life and like the protest and standing up for injustice. And at the same time, other groups have used you in past where now it's creating the fear. And what happened in this life, it triggers the past event that now amplifies your feeling states. And there's this bleed-through effect that's making like your decisions to keep it down, keep it to yourself, not speak out, kind of like now it's like more than ever, like on steroids, so to speak. So there's that.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you. So, her this lifetime activities, mm, if 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 you had chosen to take a vacation and not follow your passion or what you're about, uh, you may not have triggered this stuff. But just the activities of doing what you do, the protest, for example, wanting to help, and you're eager to learn, uh, this stuff can trigger this past life trauma. Some people, so we all have past life traumas like this, but maybe not exactly like this, but uh, they don't always get triggered. It's what gets triggered is what makes it challenging in this world, and the fix is to destimulate the trigger. Whatever triggered it, get it to release one way or another, and that can be a challenge, but that's also how we consider spiritual growth and development. The various techniques and methods we use, whether it's refocusing attention, um, or meditating or breath work or anything else. So uh, that's what we're seeing here, and what Vila is picking up is not just past life stuff, but your parallel activities, so to speak, what you're doing in other realms and what you have done, and the nature of your being.
And we could like focus on an incident, inability to talk or fighting for the injustice, standing up for people, like to protect them, those that will not do it for themselves. And we could look at similar events where there is a realm and you have played various different roles. It's like there's a king and you're his advisor, and someone else is trying to deceive and kill him and trying to tell the king the truth, but he doesn't believe you because he has someone else telling him stuff, and there's that person has an influence, and then the king gets killed, and people are like, well, the advisor should have known, so you get blamed for the death, even though you've been sharing the truth. So even while you did your thing, you were found guilty. There are a lot of variations where we have a realm, there's something going on, and you have various roles. Just a normal person or the queen of the country or something. Like we have, again, like lots of different variations and the incidents where we could track back. But I'm just saying a lot has been built up. Besides all that, well, there's a lot of traumatic stuff. I think we should look at some positives as well. Um, you have other aspects where you've had the role as an Irma, where you've been with the Aldebaran race, where you've been like, again, Aldebaran are like more like plant-like, elf-like humanoid beings. So imagine humanoid elf, but it's plant-like, tree-like, like brute, and it has more of like healing abilities, super in touch with nature. So it's like you can get your roots into the nature and communicate with every single being on the planet. And it's like you connect with the trees and you can send messages to the people. You can like how should I say, like it's like every tree on Earth has a connection, and there's this like almost like a nervous system network where you can tune in, send info, and feel everyone, feel every single being on the planet, feel how they're feeling, feel what they're experiencing, what they're thinking, and through that you can connect to them, send them info, give them energy, heal them, or have this understanding about people and what's currently being needed, so you could provide. Uh, it's more of your key focuses. Uh, You've been with the Dohan race. I've talked about it in the past in some videos, but it's more like think of like an energy ball, a wisp. It's just the energy, but these beings gather in clusters and they have a specific emotion. So throughout, like depending on the emotion and the feeling state and the intention, their colors change. Whenever they gather in one cluster, it gets bigger. And it's like they used to send that energy, feeling state, thought to someone to heal, to help them. So if someone's feeling depressed, but you know that if that person had a different feeling state or a thought, they would get this nexus point in their life and they would change and they would start creating, providing, doing, like acting as what their purpose is. So you as a Tohan would provide that. You would gather in group, locate beings more like we call lions, those that are awake, those that are able to fight, those that are aware of the info that's needed, and you would focus on those beings and look at what their needs are so that you could help them, support them, and become like an amplifier to a guitar or an instrument. You can play a simple guitar and here's that, but when you have an amplifier, you can put it really loud and support, like give it all kinds of, vibes and alters and like just a different sound. So you are that. You're an amplifier. You look at what being needs and you provide that info. So there's a lot to that. And I would say like these are your core strengths. You are like in the astral, diplomatic. You're very active. You're fighting for the rise, like as with Irma's. And I'm seeing like there's a lot of connections with Pleiadians and Taygetans and Lyrans, and you're playing with the Galactic Federation, again, being politically active, standing out for, like, again, the things you're doing here on Earth, you're doing out there a bit more successfully. You're not being as attacked this year, but there's a lot. So there's that. Rich can fill out more details if you have more insights, and I can just keep on going. But yeah.
No, you can just keep on going. Yeah, you're doing great. Yes, plenty of detail there. Yeah.
So besides that, I mentioned some of the stuff about 20 and back and stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. We could go into a lot of things that are negative, a lot of different stories, but with the stuff we just like provided you, let's say some of the looks into your past lives or other aspects that are currently active and playing and things that have been happening to you, what can you do with this info? How can you help yourself? Let's focus on this a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good thing. I got to take a quick little break.
Yeah,
I'll be
go on.
right back,
Yeah.
and then we can focus on that. Okay.
So a few minute break on that. I'll fill in more details, I guess, before Rich comes back as to what's been happening to you. You also have Adita, you also have some astral clones where think of this. You're traveling and let's say physical body falls asleep or you try to get out of body and your astral body is being captured or put in this controlled dream state to where you might think, oh, it's a dream and I'm doing stuff, but what you're experiencing, it is an overlay created that would provide you a story and make you feel safe. You drop your guard, considering it's just a dream, just an experience, but actually that overlay is to hypnotize you. It's like frosting on a cake, but the cake really is, and the true story is that you've been captured and your energy is being siphoned. And I'm seeing like you have a few astral clones that are energetically targeted in a way of like think of like energy rod going and piercing your body. And specifically for you, I'm seeing the neck being targeted, your stomach area. If we would talk about, being a woman, your woman organs, your girly parts, your footsies is like keeping you grounded. So you physically might face more issues there, where hard to digest. Maybe menstrual cycle is super painful. Stomach issues, stuff like that, like bloating or irregular bowel movements, stuff like that. Let's see. Okay, just turn off the video, whatever. Good. What else? As regard the neck, there is some connection to like as regards communication, but you might also have this feeling state where you want to talk and you have something to say, and it's like Eminem is rapping. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. You want to talk, and it sticks here in your throat, and you can't say it. And it's like you might have communication with people where you want to speak up, where you want to be honest, where you want to share how you feel, what you feel. You want to express yourself, and it would change everything. If that person would understand you, if you could just say that one thing and they look from your perspective, whatever they're assuming, they would look from your perspective and like, hey, I never thought this about you. Thank you for sharing. But that key phrase that would change everything, it's stuck here. And it's just so hard to be true and share that stuff. No matter how much you want to say, it just won't come out. So there's that. And I'll add that, like, us Reches back and just a few of the things I shared, a few things that you could do with those astral clones and some of the things I mentioned. If you feel it to yourself, imagine like, okay, well, there's a thing I might feel in my throat, and like if we're talking about like astral clones, then imagine or think about that body and that energy rod piercing, and you just like imagine as if you're taking that rod or cable and you're just pulling it out, and or you're just like uncreating it. It's no longer there. You can even like use your hand to scan your body for the problems. Like physically, you use your hand and you go like, okay, well, there's a bit more here. So there's information being stopped, or you don't have as easy access as you would like. Even like memories to your past lives, even the knowingness, all the tools you have and know of, it's already everything's within you. You don't need us or anyone else. But it's like that stuff is being stopped, and it's kind of like I have to have someone else help me, or I will not succeed in life. And there's like a lot of these background beliefs or core or like let's say soul agreements that are limiting you, but it's also like an overlay of like to make you feel smaller, to make you feel like you cannot do stuff yourself. Like you have all the tools. So you're scanning like, okay, well, there's that stuff here. Throat stuff, I already pulled it out. You're checking your chest and stuff, like, okay, my stomach. So whatever, like you have all the tools, so you go with the energy, whatever might feel heavier, denser, you're just going through your body and it feels like your hand just pops, like there's a bit more pressure here. Well, there's something there. And you ask, like, okay, well, what is it? And the first thought you get is the answer. So there's that. This energy clearing, however you might identify those things. Astral clones, if you feel like, you're being trapped or there's something that's being like messed with, you can uncreate the astral clones. You don't need them. You have aspects that you can tune into at any time, but if there are any parts of you that were created against your own free will and they're using you to harvest you, to mess with you, to have this voodoo doll effect or a bleacher effect, you can remove them. You can undo them. You don't need them. At the same time, all the parts of you that have been messed with, as you remove them, you can have this filter of like, okay, I just destroyed them, uncreated them, and all the energy that has went out, I run them through the filter where they clean up, where they no longer hold the mass or emotions or attachments, and you allow it to come back to you where now it is clear, it's healing, it's you, whatever you've let out, it can come back. So there's that. Rich, would you like to share more?
I need a specific issue or target to
Oh, I mean, like,
come up with some brilliant technique or something.
let's say
What?
let's go
Yeah.
back into some of the pastimes or aspects that we talked about, the true
Mhm.
seance, the Irma, the Golden Crown, the scenarios where um Adita had these parts where she's fighting for something, she wants to share the truth, but she's attacked, and there's this part of suppressing herself or decisions made to no longer speak up or being found guilty and stuff like that, like the bleacher effect I've been talking about. Like just like stuff we've touched, the issues, how would you help the person?
Yeah, one of the easiest things would be soul contracts, looking at the agreements. And they don't have to be just a soul contract level, but agreements. What we agree to becomes our reality. And the story we tell ourselves, and like right now, you're hearing new stories about yourself. You don't have to accept them, you know. But the idea of getting a new story about what's going on uh, gives you context within which you can work a solution. Or if, okay, if I made some agreements to do some shit for a worthy cause, but it backfired on me, what were those agreements exactly? It's all a story, right? And you go, well, those that'd be I agreed that they needed help. I agreed that I failed, and I agreed that I wanted to fix it, and I agreed that I thought these guys were great guys, and then I found out they were bad guys, and I agreed now that they're bad guys. Now I got betrayed. Now I must be stupid. It's like all these agreements, but they are the story in practical terms. It's just a story. But you tell the story about the thing and you find out what you're agreeing to. And now you can literally, consciously revoke those agreements. I no longer agree to that. I no longer believe I was tricked and deceived. I no longer believe I was stupid. I no longer believe I failed. You go, well, how can I do that when I failed? No, you believe you failed. That's why it's only a failure, because you believe it. It was a game. What you come up with after you revoke the agreements is all fresh and new. You are creating your new reality right here in present time. And there is no past, present, and future. It's all right now. So all that past and stuff that we're sharing with you, it becomes right here. And you're either the effect of it, you're the cause over it, it bothers you or it doesn't. So all of that happens right now. So sorting out the agreements and just revoking the agreements, like what I shared was like stupid fucking information. That would be just a belief. No, it wasn't. It was fucking brilliant. That fast. I fixed it. But yeah. You're getting the quick and dirty here on the solutions, but doing soul contract revocation and agreement revocation stuff will help. Along those same lines is releasing beliefs. Whatever you believe about these different areas of your life that you're feeling limited in. I believe, I've lost my voice. Yeah, I can't, I don't know why, but you believe, and that makes it so. So there's different techniques. You can release the limiting belief, and you can also create new positive beliefs. But yeah, it's a couple of things.
And another thing I'll add is being a Trucian and an empath and caring for people, and just out of nature where you try to fight and stand for those that, cannot do themselves, or the smaller masses, as you care about them, you will attract entities of other people. And you will be that empath, like a sponge, always taking up other people's stuff, where you're feeling pain, let me release it for you. But it's like, instead of releasing it, you take it up all upon yourself. And you're constantly taking, but you are not cleaning yourself enough. Or you're doing the work, but it's like grease clogging the pipes. It stays and it accumulates over time, and it becomes, bigger, thicker, to the point where what you're doing currently, as regards spiritual work or self-work, it's not giving you as many results as you would like. So unclogging those pipes or cleaning yourself up is like a really important thing, but how would you do that? You might have done it in the past, but I would say like giving the permission for entities and alters and other aspects and fragments and other consciousness pieces and anyone connected, giving them a permission to leave you, to find a place. And it's like, one is like, okay, anyone in my space that does not want to be here, that feels trapped, that feels stuck, that feels lost, that has difficulties, you have my permission to leave. You can go. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. Thank you for helping me out. Whatever reason you had to stay with me, you're free to go. Thank you. I love you. Bye. Just stating something like that in your own words, however you feel. That's one thing. You can imagine, think of a reality, a realm, that would be like a safe haven for someone else. And if you have a hard time visualizing, think about writing that fantasy story. Well, one day there was this little forest, and there's a mountains in the distance, and there's a cabin in the woods, and this world is perfect with a lot of happy, cute little animals, and you're just writing your paragraph about what the world looks like and what it is. And it's like, you invite, okay, if there are beings who are stuck here, who are feeling depressed and who would like to be free, I've just created the world for you where you will have all of your needs met, and you give them that invitation to the world you've just imagined, and they can leave you. And you will feel like this heaviness, stuff that was like pressuring you, leaves. But keep in mind that being a Trucian, where one, you're saving people, you're helping them to travel, but two, you have been used against your own free will to trap someone. So now you have beings that you never wanted to have within your space. You can allow them to leave by creating a world where they will be able to have their full memory, where they can decide from that point of view whatever they want to do and move on. And you clear your reputation from that. And another thing I would look like, there's just a lot. Getting rid of, yeah, go on, Rich.
About the Trucian, we still? I have something to say about the Trucian.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Another way to look at it, especially if you're watching this and you go, "Well, I'm not a Trucian," some of the other viewers. Imagine this: this system, this physical system of mine, it has a microscopic critters all over it. There's microbes. They're really parasympathetic bacteria all these kind of separate little entities. Okay. Now imagine each one also has an astral plane. They're all on the astral. Or let's get even smaller into the nanoparticles and the subatomic particles and quantum physics. You get a piece of sentient consciousness that is being a super small microbe sort of thing. It's in this body. But at that level, this body doesn't look like a body anymore. It looks like a vast universe. There's lots of distance between the atom and the electron, or the proton and the electron. There's a vast distance. And at this level of smallness, my own body would look like the Trucion. It's like a metaphor, or it's similar in that way. Now, but I am the Trucion. Now, as a technique, I could say, look, if there are any of you loving, wonderful beings that are in my system would like to be free, you are free to go. And you can literally imagine giving bacteria, harmful bacteria and germs and virus phenomena, permission to leave your system. And that alone is a spiritual technique that will help release the physical bacteria, but also the energetic or spiritual consciousness that is inhabiting the physical body of the bacteria. Just like I'm inhabiting the physical body, this body, I'm in spirit, I leave. You can allow or let the microbes and the microbacteria leave. And the bodies will just, dissolve and process the way your body physically does. Anyway, it's just another deeper look at the phenomenon.
Yeah, and the last thing I would add is because in a lot of cases where we look at the past or your other aspects that have been, you've been used against your own free will, it's like it creates a reputation where a lot of beings might feel like, hey, you're the bad guy. While you have intentions to save someone, you're being used and they don't know that or they don't see that. And it's like, why is this Trucion trapping others? Oh, it's a bad Trucion. We should get rid of it. So now it's like, while you might try to help and connect with other beings, a lot of what we would consider, oh, well, there's good guys, or, like we would look at the positive races or benevolent races. It's like you lose their support. And all of a sudden you become this invisible being who is on the side of like, is it good or bad? And a lot of people will choose to like kind of disconnect from you and not provide the help, considering like looking at your past or the information they've gotten you, like sort of disconnect from you. You could state or imagine giving that information, providing info like, hey, I have been targeted, I've been used against my own free will. There's been like a lot of incidents where things I've done, I was under control and I'm sorry. So you state that, and a lot of beings will get a different perception of you. It will change your reputation where those that might have wanted to help you out but didn't now will like, hey, okay, she needs help and we're here for her. So they'll want to connect with you, they'll want to provide help, they want to support you. So I think that would be helpful as well.
Yeah, which brings in the idea of the Ho'oponopono technique. It's a variation of that, of, look, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and thank you for understanding, or thank you for whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do things that will help you. It's just imagining or finding techniques that seem logical to you that would work, and then actually doing those things, because there's so many things that transpire just by what we think and feel about it, and including spiritual cleansing and healing work.
Yeah, that's a lot. So I think we'll be done with this quick scan. Like it's just a quickie giving you a little perspective. For the future, if you do any work on yourself, you might want to look into your past, specifically your mom's lineage. And there's some correlation with the Ashkenazi Jews, the karmic transference, a lot of these like curses, black magic stuff being transferred onto you. So where you might feel like you have bad luck, you're being targeted, your reputation. Again, you might do healing work, you might want to work with others, but having this pushback and mistrust and other stuff, there's a lot of things in the background that I see. But anyway, it's a quickie. We can always go much deeper, but hopefully this was of any use for you. And yeah, that's about it for this read. Thank you, Adita.
Wow. Thank you, Avila. That was amazing. Yeah,
There's a
the
lot of those.
reality is so deep, and a person doesn't have to look at it this deep or understand it the way that Avila and I do.
Absolutely.
So whatever level of the game you're at, the idea would be to improve conditions. And so it's the story that you understand about your life and this reality matters. And so as as you look at this story, you're trying to learn more about the story that you believe is a true story, not some bullshit, because it's only bullshit because it doesn't fit within your paradigm. So you get, okay, now this is happening, that okay, but yeah, now, well, how do I do this? And now you're looking for solutions to the story that you've come up with, and you find a solution that will work, or you find a solution that didn't work, and you go, why didn't that work? But you're always constantly telling yourself a story. So the idea is to understand enough of the story and then use techniques that will improve the quality of your life, a technique that is effective. Now, for a technique to be effective, it has to also do with what you think and feel and believe about the technique or the process or the method, whether it's meditation, deep breathing, energy food, yoga, or any other kind of psychic work. So we always have the opportunity to improve ourselves. And we start with things like what we think, what we feel, and what we believe, and the awareness and consciousness that we are. And then there's the willpower, the determination, and the interest and the focus. That's all.
And yeah, on the same note, when we look at life, it's like a lot of people are done with this place and they want to get out. So it's like, what use to clear all the scrap on this part of you, if it's true to you, instead of just like, ah, fuck it, I want to be done, you know? So instead of looking at clearing all your stuff, there's this fake it till you make it, or you just choose, like, yeah, whatever I decide in past stuff doesn't matter. It's all about current moment. The personality that you have, the beingness that you have, the identity, you can choose to switch it. You can choose that today, whatever I was, it's no longer truth. You delete that story, you cross it out, and start writing a new story. What's going to be your new archetype, your key personality that you would like to have, that you would, choose? You are a creator. If this is a game and you choose to play, what kind of character would you like to play? Well, this character would have this kind of personality. Maybe if you have a clusterfuck in your house and there's like a lot of dirt and it's just, filled with items, it's like, I would like to be tidy. Good. This character is now tidy. So you make yourself at least a few minutes a day, get up, pick something up, throw it out. Clean up the house, clean a little dirt here and there. But you choose, instead of, oh, well, this aspect that has, issues with cleaning up, now we have to clear past lives so that it would change. No, fuck that whole story. Nobody cares. From this moment on, you choose, like, well, from now on, I am no longer into, being dirty. I can start cleaning up. And you just get off your ass and start doing stuff. So every one of us, if we don't want to clear all that old stuff, who you want to be, developing the personality is like a muscle. You have to work at it every single day, acting as if, but you put in the work. You decide who you want to be, how would you like to act, and every single day you put in a little bit more effort into being that. And it's getting out of your comfort zone because you're changing the story. It is not how you used to be. It is not how you used to feel. But from now on, you decide that you want to be a different person. You have to work at it. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to act differently because it's no longer the old story. It's the new one where you might be more courageous. You might be a bit more outgoing. You might have an easier time communicating. The old story of where your beliefs didn't work and you had a hard time speaking up for yourself. Well, fuck that. Become more expressive. And it might be hard, but you start saying, it's so hard to say, but I'm gonna. And you speak through tears and you speak through however hard it is to express yourself, but you say that one thing and you'll feel better. So if looking at a stuff that, oh, I have to solve all that crap, you don't have to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You just choose to change from this moment on, if it's what you like, and you start behaving differently. But there's a lot to it.
Yeah, there really is. There's so many different dynamics. And you got a person like me, it's like, what's going on here? What was I doing before I got here? Do I want to ask that question from the linear perspective or above time perspective? If it's linear, I'm asking, what am I doing here? What was I doing before? And what am I going to do now? What did I decide to do when I came here? What's that about? Okay, that's linear. Well, because last time, blah, 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 blah. So next time, that's linear time. Okay. You can ask the same question from a higher perspective. And that would be like, we're in all timelines and all reality systems simultaneously. I don't normally do this myself, but don't do what I do what I preach. But no, you can do this. I might give it a shot. It's like, okay, while focusing in on this beingness of this aspect of self, if I am suffering, what am I getting out of that? And how long shall I suffer? And have I suffered long enough? If the idea is to, if you incarnate into a realm of suffering, war, this world is just like completely fucked. It's like really cruel and evil and weird for a lot of people, and it's really hard to manage. But why would a being like you or me from above time choose to experience this kind of phenomena? Not to experience happiness. This is a place of suffering. But it might be to experience the challenge and develop some new skills and abilities on how do I navigate this, or how do I confront and experience this phenomenon I've never felt before. I never felt suffering before. This is fun. Anyway, it's an exercise in experience and expansion. Yes, sounds like.
Okay. Well, on a similar note, I did to say it. I'm truly thankful, Liquid and Rich. I'll definitely work on my assumptions and beliefs, and I'll focus on methods you gave. Everything you said matches. That was too much indeed, and I'm so grateful.